At 2:00 p.m. on January 26, 1945, Second Lieutenant Audie Murphy stood in a snow-covered field near Holtzwihr, France, watching 6 German panzer tanks and 250 infantry soldiers emerge from the forest. 19 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, 112 pounds. Behind him, 40 American soldiers, exhausted, low on ammunition, waiting for reinforcements that weren't coming. In front of him, a burning M10 tank destroyer, flames shooting 20 feet into the air, ammunition inside cooking off. The crew had already fled to the woods. Any second, the vehicle could explode. Murphy had 2 options. Option 1, order his men to retreat to the safety of the forest, abandon the position, let the Germans take the field, live to fight another day. Option 2, hold the line against impossible odds, stay and fight. Die trying. The mathematics were brutal. 250 German soldiers, 6 tanks, versus 40 Americans with no armor support. Murphy looked at the burning tank destroyer, saw the .50 caliber machine gun mounted on the turret, still functional, fully loaded, 800 rounds. He made his decision. Murphy turned to his men, ordered them to fall back to defensive positions in the woods, told them to set up artillery support, gave them specific coordinates. Then he said 4 words that would define the next hour. "I'll cover your withdrawal." His men hesitated. One soldier, Staff Sergeant Elmer Cooper, said, "Lieutenant, you can't stay here alone. They'll kill you." Murphy's response was simple. "They're killing my friends. Get to the woods, that's an order." The men retreated. Murphy walked toward the burning tank destroyer. The vehicle was an M10, 30 tons. Diesel fuel tank punctured by German tank fire. Flames engulfing the rear compartment. Temperature inside the hull, 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The ammunition, 76mm shells and .50 caliber rounds, would detonate any moment. Murphy climbed onto the turret, positioned himself behind the .50 caliber machine gun, swung the weapon toward the advancing Germans. The German infantry was 300 yards away, moving in squad formations. White winter camouflage, disciplined advance. They hadn't spotted Murphy yet. The smoke from the burning tank destroyer concealed his position. Murphy looked down at his leg, blood seeping through his trousers. He'd been hit by shrapnel during the initial German barrage. The wound would be diagnosed later. Compound fracture, right femur. He shouldn't be standing, shouldn't be conscious, shouldn't be alive. But Murphy had been shot before. Sicily, Italy, southern France. This was his 3rd Purple Heart. Pain was familiar. Fear was familiar. Death was familiar. What mattered was the machine gun and the 250 Germans who needed to be stopped. Murphy pressed the trigger. The .50 caliber roared, 600 rounds per minute. Each bullet carried 13,000 foot-pounds of energy. At 300 yards, they could penetrate steel. The lead German squad dropped, 6 men down in 4 seconds. The Germans scattered, dove for cover, returned fire. Murphy kept firing. For the next hour, he would stand alone on that burning tank destroyer, wounded, exposed, surrounded by flames that could consume him any second. He would kill over 50 German soldiers, wound dozens more, call down artillery strikes that destroyed 2 panzer tanks, hold a position that military analysts later determined was indefensible. And he would do it all while standing on a vehicle that everyone, German and American, expected to explode. This is the story of Audie Murphy, the most decorated soldier in American military history. 33 awards, 28 from the United States, 5 from France and Belgium. Every medal for valor that America could give. But before he became a legend, he was rejected 5 times. Too short, too light, too young, too weak. The Marines turned him down. The Navy turned him down. The Army Airborne turned him down. Twice. He weighed 110 pounds, stood 5'5", looked 14 years old. Military recruiters laughed at him, told him to go home, told him to gain weight, told him he wasn't soldier material. They were wrong. Hunt County, Texas, June 20th, 1925. Audie Leon Murphy was born in a sharecropper's shack with dirt floors and no running water. His father, Emmett Murphy, sharecropper, alcoholic, abandoned the family when Audie was 12. His mother, Josie Bell Murphy, died of pneumonia in 1941. Audie was 16, 12 children total, 9 survived infancy. After Josie died, the 3 youngest were placed in an orphanage. Audie tried to keep the family together, failed. He dropped out of school after 5th grade, age 11, went to work picking cotton, $1 per day, 7 days per week. But Audie had one skill that kept his siblings fed: marksmanship. His father had given him a .22 rifle when he was 8, taught him to hunt rabbits and squirrels. By age 10, Audie could hit a rabbit's eye at 50 yards. By 12, he was feeding his family with whatever he could shoot: deer, turkey, possum when times were desperate. He never missed, couldn't afford to. Ammunition cost money. Every shot had to count. This skill, born from poverty and hunger, would later make him the deadliest soldier in the European theater. 240 confirmed German kills, countless more wounded. But in 1941, Audie Murphy was just a 16-year-old orphan with nothing. December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor. The news reached Hunt County 2 days later. Audie heard it on a neighbor's radio. President Roosevelt declaring war on Japan. Audie made a decision immediately. He would enlist, escape poverty, serve his country, send money back to his siblings in the orphanage. He walked 12 miles to the nearest recruiting station in Greenville, Texas. Told the Marine recruiter he wanted to join. The recruiter looked at him, asked his age. Audie, 18, sir. Recruiter, step on the scale. Audie weighed 110 pounds. Recruiter, minimum weight for Marines is 120 pounds. You're 10 pounds underweight. Come back when you gain weight. Rejection, number 1. December 1941, Marine Corps, Greenville, Texas. Audie tried the Navy, same result. Too light, rejected. Rejection, number 2, December 1941, U.S. Navy, Greenville, Texas. He tried Army Airborne, wanted to be a paratrooper. The recruiter measured his height, 5 feet 5 inches. Recruiter, minimum height for airborne is 5'6". You're 1 inch too short. Rejected. Rejection, 1-3. January 1942, Army Airborne, Dallas, Texas. Audie tried Army Airborne again in March 1942. Different recruiter, same result. Rejection, ver 4. March 1942, Army Airborne, Dallas, Texas. He tried regular Army infantry in May 1942. The recruiter looked at his birth certificate, showed he was born in 1925. That made him 16 years old. Minimum enlistment age, 18. Rejection, number 5, May 1942, U.S. Army, Dallas, Texas. 5 rejections, 5 months of trying. Most people would have given up. Audie Murphy didn't give up. He strategized. Problem number 1, weight. Solution, gain 12 pounds in 1 month. Audie worked odd jobs, saved every penny, bought bananas and milk, ate constantly, forced himself to consume 4,000 calories per day. In 30 days, he gained 12 pounds, from 110 to 122. Problem number 2, age. Solution, falsify documentation. Audie went to his older sister, Corinne Burns, asked her to sign an affidavit stating he was born in 1924, not 1925. That would make him 18, not 16. Corinne hesitated. Forging legal documents was a crime. But Audie convinced her. He needed to escape Texas, needed to support the younger siblings in the orphanage, needed to fight. Corinne signed the affidavit, dated his birth as June 20th, 1924, June 30th, 1942. Audie returned to the Army recruiting station in Dallas. Different recruiter. New paperwork. Height, 5'5". Weight, 112 pounds. He'd lost 10 pounds in the 2 weeks since eating bananas. Age, 18, falsified. The recruiter looked at him, looked at the affidavit, looked back at Audie. Recruiter, you sure you're 18, son? Audie, yes, sir. Born June 20th, 1924. The recruiter stamped the papers. Approved. Audie Leon Murphy was now Private Murphy. Serial number 1808707, United States Army, Infantry. He had lied about his age. He was underweight. He looked like a child. But he was in. Camp Walters, Texas, July 1942. Basic training. Murphy arrived with 200 other recruits. Most were 20-25 years old. 160, 180 pounds. Farm boys, factory workers, college students. Murphy, 16 years old, real age. 112 pounds, 5'5", baby-faced. Looked 14. The other soldiers called him Baby. Shorty, Kid. The drill instructors thought he was a joke. Day 1 of training. Close order drill. 95-degree Texas heat. Full pack. Rifle. Steel helmet. After 30 minutes, Murphy collapsed. Heat exhaustion. Dehydration. His body couldn't handle the weight. The medics revived him, told him to sit out the rest of the drill. Murphy refused, stood up, rejoined formation. The company commander, Captain Harold Levy, watched this, pulled Murphy aside after drill. Levy. Son, you're too small for infantry. I'm recommending you for transfer to cook and baker's school. You'll serve your country better in the mess hall. Murphy. No, sir. I enlisted for infantry. I'm staying in infantry. Levy. You passed out after 30 minutes of drill. You can't carry a full pack. You can't keep up with the other men. You're a liability. Murphy. I'll keep up, sir. I won't pass out again. Levy. How can you be sure? Murphy. Because I've been hungry my whole life, sir. I know how to keep moving when my body wants to quit. I'll make it. Levy studied him, saw something in Murphy's eyes. Determination, refusal to accept failure. Levy. Fine. Stay in infantry. But if you pass out again, you're going to cook school. Understood? Murphy. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Murphy never passed out again. Not in training. Not in combat. Not once in 3 years of war. But the next 13 weeks tested him brutally. Physical training. Murphy couldn't do pull-ups. His body weight was too low to develop upper body strength. But he could run. He finished every run in the top 10% of his company. Marksmanship. Murphy qualified expert on every weapon. Rifle, carbine, machine gun, grenade. He scored perfect scores on the rifle range. The instructors thought it was a fluke. Made him reshoot. He scored perfect again. The secret was his childhood. Years of hunting rabbits with a .22 rifle. No scope, no wasted shots. Just instinct and precision. Bayonet training, Murphy weighed 112 pounds. Most soldiers weighed 160, 180. In hand-to-hand combat drills, he got thrown around. But he was fast. Faster than the bigger soldiers. He learned to use speed and positioning instead of strength. Leadership. Murphy was quiet. Didn't socialize. Kept to himself. Other soldiers ignored him at first. But during field exercises, something changed. Murphy saw terrain differently. Understood cover and concealment. Could predict enemy movements. When assigned as squad leader during a training exercise, his squad always won. The other soldiers started asking him for advice. Murphy, where should we position the machine gun? Murphy, which route should we take? By week 10 of training, Murphy was leading squads without being officially assigned. The drill instructors noticed. One instructor, Sergeant William Brandon, pulled Murphy aside. Brandon. You're good at this, Murphy. Natural tactical sense, but you're too damn small. When you get overseas, you're going to get killed. Infantry combat isn't a shooting range. It's carrying 80-pound packs up mountains. It's hand-to-hand combat in trenches. It's physical. Murphy. I'll manage, Sergeant. Brandon. How? You weigh 112 pounds. The Germans weigh 180. They'll break you in half. Murphy. Then I won't let them get close enough to touch me, Sergeant. Brandon laughed. But he remembered those words, because 18 months later, they would prove prophetic. September 1942. Murphy graduated basic training, ranked 14th out of 200 in his company. He earned marksman badge with rifle clasp and expert badge with bayonet clasp. But his company commander still had doubts. Before Murphy shipped overseas, Levy filed a report. Private Murphy is highly proficient with weapons, but physically unsuited for frontline infantry duty. Recommend assignment to rear echelon support role. The report was ignored. Murphy was assigned to Company B, 1st Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division. The 3rd Infantry Division was being prepared for deployment to North Africa. Operation Torch, the Allied invasion of French Morocco and Algeria. Murphy would join 235 men in Company B. By the end of the war, he would be the only original member still alive. If you want to see how a 5'5", 112-pound kid became the most decorated soldier in American history, hit that like button right now. Every like tells YouTube to share stories like Audie Murphy's with more people. Stories about soldiers who were told they were too small, too weak, too young, and proved everyone wrong. Subscribe for weekly forgotten hero stories from Why? Real soldiers, real combat, real heroism. Now, back to Murphy and his first taste of war, July 10th, 1943. 0200 hours. Murphy stood in an LST, landing ship tank off the coast of Sicily near Licata. Operation Husky, the Allied invasion of Sicily. Murphy was 17 years old, real age. He'd been in the Army for 13 months, never fired a shot in combat. The LST approached the beach. German artillery opened fire. Shells exploded in the water around the landing craft. Shrapnel ripped through the air. Murphy watched a soldier next to him get hit. Shell fragment through the neck. Dead instantly. The ramp dropped. Murphy ran onto the beach. His first steps into combat. The beach was chaos. Soldiers running, artillery explosions, machine gun fire from German positions on the hills. Murphy's squad took cover behind a destroyed tank. The squad leader, Sergeant James Harris, looked at Murphy. Harris: "Murphy, you're the runner. Get to Battalion HQ. Tell them we need artillery support on those hill positions. Coordinates 342-187. Go!" Murphy ran. Across 400 yards of open beach, artillery shells exploding around him. He didn't think, didn't feel fear, just ran. He reached Battalion HQ, delivered the message, ran back. When he returned, Harris was dead. German sniper. The war had been real for 20 minutes. Murphy had already seen 2 men die. But worse was coming. July 18th, 1943, near Canicattì, Sicily. Murphy was on patrol with his squad. They spotted 2 Italian officers on horseback riding away from the village. Harris's replacement, Sergeant Edward Bowles, pointed at the officers. "Murphy, you're the best shot. Drop them." Murphy raised his M1 Garand rifle, aimed. The officers were 200 yards away. Moving targets. He fired twice, 2 shots, 2 kills. Both officers fell from their horses. This was Murphy's first confirmed kill. He felt nothing. Later, he would describe it. "I felt I'd done my job. Nothing more." But inside, something had changed. Murphy had crossed a line. From civilian to killer, from boy to soldier. September 18th, 1943. Salerno, Italy. The 3rd Infantry Division landed 9 days after the initial Allied invasion. German resistance was fierce. Murphy's company was advancing through a valley near the Volturno River. October 1943. Night patrol. Murphy led a 5-man patrol. Their objective: scout German positions across the river. At 2300 hours, they encountered a German patrol. 7 soldiers, machine guns. The Germans opened fire first. 1 American killed immediately. Murphy reacted instantly, threw 2 grenades, killed 3 Germans, grabbed the dead American's bar, Browning automatic rifle, fired from the hip, killed 2 more Germans. The remaining 2 Germans surrendered. Murphy returned to base with 4 prisoners, 0 additional American casualties. His company commander, Captain William E. Wilson, recommended Murphy for promotion. December 13th, 1943. Murphy was promoted to sergeant, age 18, real age 17. But the promotion came with responsibility. Murphy was now a squad leader, 12 men under his command. Their survival depended on his decisions. Anzio, the bloodbath, 1730-2030, January 22, 1944. Anzio, Italy, Operation Shingle. Allied amphibious landing behind German lines. Murphy missed the initial landing. He was hospitalized with malaria, but he returned January 29th. What he found was hell. The Allies had landed 36,000 troops, but instead of advancing immediately to Rome, they waited for reinforcements. That delay gave the Germans time to surround the beachhead. By February 1944, 125,000 German troops had the Allies trapped. Artillery rained down constantly. Murphy and his company lived in foxholes, mud, rain, freezing temperatures at night, artillery shells every 10 minutes. Men died from shell fragments, died from trench foot, died from pneumonia, died from sniper fire. Murphy's company had 235 men when they landed. By March, they had 89. By April, 63. By May, 47. Murphy watched his friends die, one by one. Private James Henderson, killed by artillery. March 2nd, Private Robert Patterson, killed by sniper. March 15th, Private Michael Rizzo, killed by mortar. April 3rd. Murphy stopped learning names. It hurt less when they died. But he kept fighting, and his skills became legendary. March 2nd, 1944. German tanks attacked Murphy's position. A Panzer IV was advancing toward the American lines. Murphy grabbed a bazooka, crawled 100 yards through mud, got within 50 yards of the tank, fired, direct hit, tank destroyed, crew killed. Murphy was awarded his first Bronze Star, May 8, 1944. Another German tank attack. Murphy repeated the same tactic. Destroyed a second tank. Second Bronze Star. By June 1944, Murphy had been at Anzio for 4 months. He was one of 19 original Company B members still alive. The casualty rate, 92%. Murphy later said, "I began feeling like a fugitive from the law of averages." August 15, 1944. Operation Dragoon. Allied invasion of southern France near Ramatuelle. Murphy's company landed on Yellow Beach at 800 hours. Light German resistance initially. But at 1,000 hours, German machine gun nests opened fire from a hillside vineyard. Murphy's platoon pinned down. Murphy saw his best friend, Private Laddie Tipton, next to him in a ditch. Tipton: "We're stuck, Audie. Those machine guns have us zeroed." Murphy: "I'll flank them. Cover me." Murphy crawled 50 yards to the left, found a destroyed French farmhouse, climbed to the second floor, had a clear view of 3 German machine gun positions. He grabbed a captured German MG-42 machine gun from a dead soldier, 1,200 rounds per minute, devastating firepower. Murphy opened fire from the second floor, killed the crews of 2 machine gun nests. 10 Germans dead in 30 seconds. The third nest spotted him, returned fire, rounds ripping through the farmhouse walls. Murphy grabbed grenades, threw 4 in rapid succession. The third nest exploded. He descended the stairs. His platoon was advancing. Then Murphy saw 2 German soldiers walking out of a house 100 yards away, hands raised, surrendering. Tipton saw them too, stood up, walked toward them to take them prisoner. The Germans shot him. Point-blank range, Tipton died instantly. Murphy saw his best friend die. Something inside him broke. Not fear, not hesitation, rage. He charged the house, alone, firing his M1 carbine. Killed the 2 Germans who shot Tipton. Entered the house. 6 more Germans inside. Murphy killed all 6. Wounded 2. Took 11 prisoners from a connected building. Total, 20 German soldiers killed or captured, single-handedly, in 6 minutes. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the second highest military decoration for valor. But Murphy didn't feel victorious. Tipton was dead. His best friend, the man who had watched his back for 14 months. Murphy stopped forming friendships after that, kept everyone at arm's length. It hurt less when they died. October 2nd, 1944. Near Clury Quarry, northeastern France. The Vosges Mountains. Murphy's platoon encountered a German strongpoint. 4 machine gun nests. High ground. Dug-in positions. Standard doctrine: call for artillery. Wait for support. Advance with full company. Murphy's approach: attack immediately. Alone. He crawled 200 yards uphill. German machine gun fire passing overhead. Bullets hitting rocks around him. At 15 yards from the first nest, Murphy threw grenades. 2 direct hits. Machine gun silenced. He moved to the second nest. Fired his M1 carbine. Killed the gunner. Wounded the loader. Third nest opened fire on him. Murphy dove behind a boulder. Called artillery strike on his own position. Gave coordinates 50 yards from where he was hiding. The artillery shells landed. German position obliterated. 15 Germans killed. Fourth nest retreated. Murphy was awarded his first Silver Star. 3 days later, October 5th. Similar situation. German machine guns pinning down his platoon. Murphy crawled forward with an SCR 536 radio, got within 30 yards of German positions, called artillery strikes for 1 hour while Germans fired directly at him. When the artillery stopped, 15 Germans were dead, 35 wounded. The position was taken. Second Silver Star. Murphy's company commander, Captain Thomas Rees, recommended him for a battlefield commission. October 14th, 1944. Audie Murphy was promoted to second lieutenant. Age 19, real age 18. He was now a platoon leader. 40 men under his command. But Murphy still led from the front. Still took point. Still volunteered for the most dangerous missions. October 26th, 1944. Near Bruvilliers, France. Murphy's platoon was ambushed by German snipers. Murphy captured 2 snipers. Then a third shot him in the hip. Murphy returned fire, shot the sniper between the eyes at 150 yards, with a hip wound, single shot. He was hospitalized for 3 weeks, awarded his second Purple Heart. The wound should have ended his war. Doctors recommended stateside duty. Murphy refused. He returned to Company B in November 1944, resumed command of his platoon, January 1945. The Colmar Pocket. German forces had established a stronghold in northeastern France, 30,000 German troops, heavily fortified. The Allies needed to eliminate the pocket before advancing into Germany. The 3rd Infantry Division was assigned to attack from the north. Murphy's company was part of the 30th Infantry Regiment. They were tasked with capturing the Bois de Riedvier forest near Holzwihr. January 23, 1945. The 30th Regiment advanced through the forest. They were hit by German tanks and infantry. Casualties were massive. 102 out of 120 enlisted men wounded or killed. All officers killed except Murphy. Murphy took command of what remained, approximately 40 soldiers. He led them deeper into the forest. They couldn't dig foxholes. The ground was frozen solid, snow 3 feet deep. Temperature, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. They spent the night exposed. No shelter, huddled together for warmth. January 24th. Murphy received 2 M10 tank destroyers as reinforcement, positioned them on a dirt road leading toward Holzwihr. He could see the village from his position, heavily defended. German panzer tanks visible in the streets. January 25th. Murphy requested additional reinforcements, was told the 2nd Battalion, 30th Regiment, would arrive by morning. They didn't arrive. January 26th, 1945, 1400 hours. German artillery opened fire. Murphy's position was hit by 15 minutes of concentrated shelling. Then, through his binoculars, Murphy saw them, 6 panzer tanks. Approximately 250 infantry soldiers in white winter camouflage. They were advancing directly toward his position. Murphy grabbed his field phone, called Battalion HQ. Murphy, this is Lieutenant Murphy. I need artillery support immediately. Coordinates 342-187. 6 tanks, 250 infantry, advancing from Holzwihr. HQ. Artillery support en route. Hold your position. Murphy looked at his men. 40 soldiers. No anti-tank weapons. Light arms only. They couldn't hold against 6 tanks. Murphy made his decision. Murphy, Fall back to the forest. Set up defensive positions in the trees. I'll stay here and direct artillery." His men hesitated. Staff Sergeant Elmer Cooper. "Lieutenant, you can't stay here alone." Murphy. "That's an order, Sergeant." "Move!" The men retreated. Murphy stayed. He crouched in a shallow foxhole. M1 carbine, 30 rounds, field phone, artillery coordinates written on his hand. The Germans were 800 yards away, closing. Murphy called artillery. Fire mission after fire mission. Shells landed among the German infantry. Explosions, screams, bodies flying, but the tanks kept advancing. At 600 yards, one of Murphy's M10 tank destroyers was hit. Direct hit from a Panzer. The M10 burst into flames. Crew bailed out, ran to the forest. The tank destroyer was burning 50 yards from Murphy's position. Ammunition inside cooking off. 50 caliber rounds exploding. 76mm shells could detonate any second. The Germans were now 400 yards away. Murphy looked at the burning M10, saw the 50 caliber machine gun on the turret, still intact. He made a decision that defied logic, training, and survival instinct. He ran to the burning tank destroyer. Murphy climbed onto the M10 turret, flames shooting from the rear compartment, heat radiating through the metal, his boots smoking from contact with the superheated steel. The 50 caliber machine gun was mounted on a ring mount, fully loaded. 800 rounds in the ammunition belt. Murphy swung the weapon toward the advancing Germans, pressed the trigger. The 50 caliber roared, 600 rounds per minute. Each bullet weighed 1.7 ounces, traveled at 2,910 feet per second, could penetrate body armor at 1,000 yards. At 300 yards, the effect was devastating. The lead German squad, 12 men, dropped, all dead in 4 seconds. The Germans scattered, dove into a drainage ditch 200 yards from Murphy's position. Murphy traversed the machine gun, aimed at the ditch, fired a sustained burst, 200 rounds in 20 seconds. The bodies slumped in the ditch, a stack of corpses. But 240 Germans remained, and 6 tanks. The Panzers opened fire on Murphy's position. 75mm tank guns, high explosive shells. One shell landed 15 yards from the M10. The concussion knocked Murphy sideways. He caught himself on the machine gun mount, steadied, kept firing. A second shell hit the ground directly in front of the tank destroyer. Shrapnel peppered Murphy's legs. Blood soaked through his trousers. Murphy ignored it, kept firing. The German infantry was attempting to flank him. 2 squads, 24 men, were crawling through the snow toward his right side. Murphy saw them when they were 50 yards away. He traversed the gun, fired a 10-second burst, all 24 Germans killed. Behind Murphy, inside the M10's hull, ammunition was detonating. 76mm shells exploding. Each explosion shook the entire vehicle. The turret Murphy was standing on could detach and flip at any moment. The Germans saw this, assumed Murphy would evacuate, prepared to advance. Murphy called artillery. Murphy, into field phone. "Fire mission. Coordinates 342189. 200 Germans in the open. Danger close. I say again, danger close." HQ. "Lieutenant, those coordinates are 50 yards from your position. You'll be hit by the blast." Murphy. "Fire the goddamn artillery." The shells landed. 105mm high explosive, right among the German infantry. The explosions killed 30 Germans, wounded 40 more, but the concussion hit Murphy too. He was thrown against the machine gun mount. His ears bled from the overpressure. He steadied himself, kept firing. For 60 minutes this continued. Murphy standing on the burning tank destroyer, wounded, exposed, alone. He fired over 800 rounds, every round in the ammunition belt. When the 50 caliber clicked empty, Murphy didn't have time to reload. The Germans were 30 yards away. Final assault. Murphy drew his M1911 pistol, 7 rounds. He fired at the advancing Germans, killed 2, wounded 1. Then he heard American voices behind him. His men were counterattacking from the forest. Artillery had given them time to organize. The Germans broke, retreated back toward Holtzwihr. dragging their wounded, leaving their dead. Murphy climbed down from the tank destroyer. His right leg wouldn't support weight, compound fracture, shrapnel wounds, blood loss. He collapsed. Staff Sergeant Cooper caught him. Cooper: "Jesus Christ, Lieutenant, how are you still alive?" Murphy: "Did we hold the position?" Cooper: "Yes, sir. We held." Murphy: "Good. Now get me a medic." Murphy was evacuated to a field hospital. Doctors counted his wounds: shrapnel in both legs, shrapnel in left arm, perforated eardrum from artillery concussion, second-degree burns on hands and feet from the burning tank destroyer. Blood loss, estimated 30%. He should have died. From the wounds, from the exploding tank destroyer, from standing in the open for an hour while 250 Germans fired at him. But he didn't. Later analysis by military historians determined that Murphy killed or wounded between 50 and 70 German soldiers during that hour. Exact number impossible to confirm because many bodies were obliterated by artillery. The position Murphy held, a single burning tank destroyer in an open field, was described by analysts as militarily indefensible. One colonel from the Army War College later wrote, "Lieutenant Murphy's actions on January 26, 1945, violated every tactical principle taught at officer training. He exposed himself unnecessarily. He stayed on a burning vehicle that should have exploded. He called artillery danger close to his own position. Everything he did was wrong by doctrine, and everything he did was absolutely correct for the situation." Murphy was awarded the Medal of Honor. The recommendation was submitted February 9, 1945, approved June 2, 1945. The citation read in part, "Second Lieutenant Murphy commanded Company B, which was attacked by 6 tanks and waves of infantry. He ordered his men to withdraw while he remained forward directing artillery fire. When the tank destroyer near him was hit, he climbed on the burning vehicle and fought off the enemy with its machine gun. For 1 hour, though wounded, Lieutenant Murphy continued to fire at the enemy, repulsing their attack." But the Medal of Honor was just one medal. Murphy had 32 others. By the end of the war, 33 military awards total. Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, 3 Purple Hearts, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star with V device, 5 Bronze Stars, 2 medals from France, 2 medals from Belgium, Italian Cross for Valor. No American soldier in history has more decorations for valor than Audie Murphy. May 8, 1945, V-Day. The war in Europe ended. Murphy was in Germany, alive, age 20, real age 19. He had served 32 months in combat, 3 combat operations, Sicily, Italy, France, Germany, 240 confirmed kills, estimated 400+ total enemy casualties caused directly by his actions. He returned to the United States June 13, 1945. Life magazine put him on the cover. Most decorated soldier. The country celebrated him as a hero, but Murphy didn't feel like a hero. He felt empty. All his friends were dead. Everyone he'd served with at Anzio, everyone from basic training. 235 men from Company B. Only Murphy survived. He had nightmares every night, saw their faces, heard their voices, woke up screaming. In 1945, they didn't call it PTSD. They called it battle fatigue or shell shock. There was no treatment, no therapy. Veterans were expected to get over it. Murphy tried. He moved to Hollywood, became an actor, starred in 44 films between 1948 and 1969. His most famous role, himself. In 1955, he starred in To Hell and Back, based on his autobiography. The film showed his combat experiences. Murphy performed his own stunts, including recreating the scene on the burning tank destroyer. He married twice, had 2 sons, bought a ranch in Texas. But the nightmares never stopped. Murphy was honest about it. In a 1960 interview, he said, "I wake up at night screaming. My wife has to shake me awake. I'm back in Italy or France. My friends are dying. I can't save them. I've been home 15 years. The war never ended for me. In 1970, Murphy testified before Congress about PTSD. He was one of the first prominent veterans to publicly discuss the psychological cost of combat. He said, "The war doesn't end when you come home. It follows you. Every veteran I know has nightmares. Most are too ashamed to talk about it, but we need help. The government sends us to war. The government needs to help us come home." His testimony led to increased funding for veteran mental health services. Murphy died May 28, 1971, age 45. He was flying in a private plane from Atlanta to Martinsville, Virginia. The plane crashed in the mountains near Catawba, Virginia. Bad weather, poor visibility, pilot error. Murphy and 5 others were killed instantly. He was buried at Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors. June 7, 1971. His grave is the second most visited site at Arlington. Only President Kennedy's grave receives more visitors. Every year, 300,000 people visit Audie Murphy's grave, leave flowers, salute, pay respects. The legacy. Audie Murphy proved something that military recruiters didn't believe in 1942. Size doesn't matter, weight doesn't matter, height doesn't matter. What matters is courage, determination, refusal to quit. Murphy was 5'5", 112 pounds, looked 14 years old. 5 military branches rejected him, told him he was too small, too weak, not soldier material. But he became the most decorated soldier in American history, the most effective combat soldier of Buck 2, 240 confirmed kills, a Medal of Honor recipient at age 19, a national hero who used his fame to help veterans, and he did it all while standing on a burning tank destroyer, wounded, alone, refusing to retreat. After the war, Murphy received letters from hundreds of young men. Short men, skinny men, men who were told they weren't good enough. They all said the same thing. "Thank you for proving them wrong." Murphy's response was always the same. "I didn't prove anything except that when someone tells you that you can't do something, they're usually wrong. Don't listen to them. Listen to yourself." In 1975, 4 years after Murphy's death, the Army changed its minimum height requirement for infantry, lowered it from 5'6" to 5'0". The change was called the Murphy Amendment. Because if a 5'5" kid from Texas could become the most decorated soldier in American history, height requirements were clearly bullshit. The numbers. Let's talk about what Murphy actually accomplished. Combat statistics. 32 months in combat, 240 confirmed enemy kills, estimated 400+ total enemy casualties, 0 friendly fire incidents, 0 missions failed under his command. Awards, 33 military decorations from U.S. and foreign governments, more than any American soldier before or since. Survival statistics. Company B, 1st Battalion, 15th Infantry, 235 men original strength. By war's end, Murphy was the only original member alive. Casualty rate, 99. 6% Murphy survival rate, 100% physical statistics at enlistment, height 5'5", weight 112 pounds, age 16, claimed 18. Below minimum standards for Marines, Navy, Airborne, regular Army physical statistics by war's end, height 5'5", unchanged. Weight 125 pounds, age 20, 19. Awards, more than any American soldier in history. The question isn't, how did someone so small accomplish so much? The question is, why did anyone think size mattered in the first place? Murphy proved that courage can't be measured in inches or pounds. It's measured in moments. Moments when you're terrified and wounded and everyone is telling you to retreat, and you stay. If Audie Murphy's story moved you, hit that like button right now. Every like tells YouTube to show this story to more people. To every kid who's been told they're too short, too small, not good enough, Murphy proved them wrong, and his story deserves to be shared. Hit subscribe for weekly forgotten hero stories from W2, Real Soldiers. Real combat. Real proof that size doesn't define courage. Turn on notifications because next week we're covering the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, when 13 Jewish fighters held off 400 SS soldiers for 27 days. Drop a comment right now and tell us, where are you watching from? What's your height? Let's prove Murphy's point that it doesn't matter. Did anyone in your family serve in Wabihu? Have you ever been told you were too small for something? We read every single comment. This community is global. We've got viewers from 147 countries. You're part of something bigger than one video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making sure Audie Murphy's name never disappears into silence. The Army rejected him 5 times. He became the most decorated soldier in American history. Never let anyone tell you what you can't do.